All right, we are back and we are talking about boundaries. And right now, I'm going to talk to you about what to do when someone infringes on your boundaries because we all have it happen from time to time. It can come as a surprise, and when it does, we aren't often sure what to do. And what happens in many relationships is when people infringe on a boundary, then war starts, right? It's a fight, it's a lot of negative confrontation, big long arguments, big long discussions. And what happens is we're just talking and talking and talking about it. It's kind of like this rogue curl I have up here. And yes, look at this. No matter what I do with it, this curl isn't going to cooperate. Just kind of like that sometimes in our relationships. There will be a person who does not want to cooperate with our boundaries. They just don't want to respect them. They're just not going to respect them. And so, what are we going to do? We're going to let them know exactly how we feel about it. We're going to set those boundaries clearly, and then we're going to remove ourselves. Why are we going to remove ourselves? Because we want our message to be very simple, very clear, and not be muddied up with all kinds of other information. If you're like me, you probably have had times in your life where you feel like you need to do a big explanation about what's going on. So I think of previous years in my life, and when someone didn't respect me and didn't respect my boundaries, it was very easy for me to go into the long discussion and long explanation of why they should respect my boundaries, yada, 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 yada. It's not effective, doesn't work, and is exhausting. So let's not do that. Let's not go there. Let's not make life that difficult and that hard, or relationships that difficult and that hard. It boils down to one simple thing: a person's going to respect you, or they're not going to respect you. Now, it starts with your self respect, because if there is something you truly dislike, or don't like, or want, or don't want, something that's okay or not okay with you, then you must be true to yourself and insist that that's the way it is for you. If you don't insist and you let other people walk all over you, then you haven't done your part in creating healthy boundaries for yourself. So it really does boil down to, hey, I've got to set my boundaries, and it's me setting those boundaries. The way we do that is what I said in my previous video. You state what you like or what you don't like, what you want or don't want, or what's okay or not okay with you. But then this is the part that's difficult for most people. You remove yourself from the situation. You walk away. You end the conversation. You go in the other room. You go out the door. You do whatever you need to do to clearly just remove yourself, because you want to leave that message with the other person very clearly and very specifically so they understand. Each time they go to infringe on that boundary, you would do the very same thing again. Because why? Because you're refusing to participate with them if they aren't respecting your boundary, if they aren't listening to you, if they aren't hearing you on what matters to you, where those boundaries are. You remove yourself, because you do not need to subject yourself to someone infringing on your boundary and not respecting you. One of the very important things to empower yourself in this area is to decide where those boundaries are and to not move them. It's very important for your own well-being, your emotional and mental health, and your social health, to leave those boundaries intact. And by doing that, you are laying the foundation for others to respect those boundaries as well, and for you to continue to respect yourself. Very important that you continue to respect yourself. Very important that you require others to respect you as well, because that's where it all begins. Yes, there can be some very difficult situations. There are people who are narcissistic, abusive, will purposely try to infringe on your boundaries, will manipulate, will do all kinds of things. And those are a little bit more detailed and technical things that we'll get into as we go. Just understand that you're in charge and you're empowered and you're the one that decides where your boundaries are and are not. And it isn't okay for you to let others infringe on those. If you allow others to control you, if you allow others to disrespect you, if you allow others to come in and to run your life instead of you, then you're building a very toxic and unhealthy relationship, an unhealthy situation. Very important that boundaries stay in a healthy place. They're the very foundation of healthy relationships. You are watching Deb Health in the 8 areas of health and wellness, and this is relationships, which falls under social, emotional, and mental relationships. Thanks.